No, yes, Nadia, it's been a very important conference here at Quai in Paris, where donors have arrived to give pledges and show their support to Sudan in what has been billed a forgotten conflict. And now standing with me here is Tjada McKenna. She's the CEO of Mercy Corps, which is a humanitarian organization working in Sudan. And they have been very much on the ground working with the Sudanese, who are really in a destitute condition given the war, which started exactly 1 year ago. So I'm going to just start by opening up the question. Tjada, thanks so much for just speaking to us about the situation. How important is it to get the pledges over the line?
It is very important. Coming in today, this crisis was only 6% funded. There were nowhere near the resources that are needed for the 25 million people in Sudan who are in need of urgent humanitarian assistance.
Now, when we get something like a pledge, we've heard that the figure wanted by the UN was $2.7 billion. 5% of that is nowhere near enough, but we are possibly expecting a value of up to $1 billion after this conference. Where does that money then go? How does it help an organization like yours?
Yes. Lots of different ways. First of all, we are hoping that it comes immediately. So those funds, the pledge, now they have to spend the money immediately because the people have needs. A few things. In the short term, we like to provide populations with cash because local markets are still working. And so people need to be able to buy food or buy the supplies that they need. But we also want to be working with farmers. Agriculture is still the center of the Sudanese economy. Farmlands have been destroyed in this. We want to work with farmers to plant for next season, to get seeds, to get resources on the ground so that people can build their resilience and that this can come back quickly once the fighting is over. Finally, we want to make sure that we're providing the support to all the people who are migrating. There are 9 million people displaced because of this conflict, most of them within Sudan, but another 2.5 million in neighboring countries. Those people are at great risk of sexual, gender-based violence and all kinds of other atrocities. So really working with those populations to ensure their safety as they go to safer ground.
We've heard so many times about the difficulties of ease of access for aid to get into regions, particularly in West Darfur, where the previous Janjaweed militia were reigning supreme. Now the Rapid Support Forces are very much in control of that region. What kind of difficulties are facing your organization?
Yeah, we have access difficulties like others. There are also what we call bureaucratic hurdles, so just getting visas or getting permissions. That's why we're really encouraging the use of cash, because that is a lot easier for us to get to populations in need versus food or other in-kind supplies.
And then in terms of the violent conflict, what have you heard, any kind of stories facing your colleagues that are on the ground right now?
Yeah, our colleagues have told harrowing stories of leaving their homes, going to safer places, walking for days to get there, hiding in different things, trying to avoid violence and gunfire, and just lots of horrific stories. But our colleagues are also excited to keep working, to keep supporting their neighbors and their colleagues.
And how important is this conference in Paris right now? Because obviously we've tried the diplomatic route. There have been peace talks in Tjada which have not led to anything fruitful. So diplomacy and humanitarian aid has very much taken a centre stand here. We've heard from Stéphane Séjourné today, the French foreign minister. In terms of your role as humanitarian organizations going forward, how important is this kind of event?
You know, this conference is really important. The fact that it's taken a year to even have a conference like this, we are very grateful to the conveners of this. In addition, though, these countries still need to double down on the diplomatic solutions and also making sure that the parties to the conflict provide a safe space for organizations like ours to work and uphold the rules encourage the actors to uphold the rules of humanitarian law, to not be bombing critical civilian infrastructure. But this is a very important and welcome step.
Tjada McKenna, thank you so much for joining us here on France 24. And thanks to Nadia for just putting a spotlight on this Sudanese conference here in Paris.